Hi, welcome to Sandwich Revolver.
The show about movies and video games.
I'm Carl.
And I'm John.
And this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the 2017 release of Prey.
Ooh, not to be mixed with the 2006 video game called Prey.
This is the reboot, sort of.
Kind of.
Yeah,
No,
maybe.
Not really.
Maybe, you'll see. So stick around, we'll be going right through it. The beer we picked for Prey is an Elysian
Space Dust IPA.
Space Dust IPA.
This was, oddly enough, one of the only sci-fi or space-themed beers we could find at the local Beth Mile.
Yep.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. This one will go well with the game.
Yes.
So I'd recommend it. If you're playing the game, pick this up. It's kind of nice.
Cheers.
Cheers, friend.
Oh.
It's tasty.
Very good.
It's really good.
Prey is produced by Bethesda Studios. You may know them from games like Fallout and Elder Scrolls series.
Yes, the studio developing the game was Arcane Studios, which did
Dishonored,
and
Dishonored 2.
They've taken the reins of a game that was previously done by
That was Human Head Studios. Back in the day.
Back in 2006, and the sequel, which was canceled.
Prey 2.
By Human Head Studios as well, right?
Yep, they were the ones that were also developing that, and then eventually Bethesda pulled the plug in the game.
The game plays a lot like System Shock 2, which is an older game. The closest thing that you could relate it to now would probably be Bioshock.
And Dishonored.
Definitely
actually,
Dishonored.
Especially Dishonored. It's almost like a sci-fi space Dishonored.
Exactly. And so that means you have, in one hand, you have weapons. You have a gun, and in the other hand, you'll have magic.
Sort of a lot like
or psychic abilities in this game, which you
Yeah.
get from the aliens. The game plays as a semi-open world. You have quadrants of the space station that you can go through, sections of the space station, I mean.
I mean, you can basically explore at your leisure, however you like. You're like, I'm going to go over there, or you can even go outside into the vacuum of space to help bypass areas.
What really hurts this technically cool open world, though, are incredibly long load times. I would actually get up and go to the bathroom, or get up and I had a book I would read while it was loading. But aside from that, the gameplay involves a lot of stealth and a lot of backtracking and exploration.
It's definitely a search every cupboard and cabinet and dresser and drawer to find all the little bits and bobs. Because there is a really, probably my favorite part of the game, there is a very interesting sort of loot system that is unique to this game.
It's the recycle system. It's a crafting system, but in order to get the materials, you have to collect items, then break them down into their essence using a recycling machine, and then fabricate them. And you cannot fabricate them on your own. You have to find machines placed throughout the space station and put in the items after you found the plans, and then fabricate them. You mentioned exploration. A lot of the game revolves around exploration, and I love games that have exploration. But this game's exploration just isn't fun. And the reason behind that is, while enemies will respawn, the ammunition and items will not.
If you keep returning to places, you're going to burn up all of your materials and ammunition.
And there is a nice way of going outside the space station and finding airlocks, which is fine in the beginning when you have no enemies outside. But then eventually these really difficult enemies are just in space. So that makes that not fun.
Like, I don't want to complain about a game being too hard, because that just sounds like whining.
Yeah, it means get good.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm trying to get at, though, is it just still seems...
The game is not very balanced in the beginning.
I will give them credit. The Typhon definitely come off as a standout type of alien race.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel quite like what you've encountered before. It's super hard to describe.
They're kind of like black spaghetti monsters. They are, and
like, you can see the shapes, and the shapes, while they're alien, they're like, yeah, you know, I could see what they're going for there. Some are very humanoid because some of them are humans that have been possessed or taken over by the Typhon. But then, like, there's this one, probably my favorite type of the Typhon is, they look like head crabs from Half-Life.
Yes.
They have the 4 crawly legs, and they're really cool because they can. They're called mimics, and they can, they can turn and look like a bottle. They can look like a light or a book or a coffee mug, and wherever you go, you start like getting that paranoia of anything. You'll just start smashing anything with your wrench.
Other than that, the Typhon have like the mimics, and they have the phantoms, right?
Yeah, they're also, those are the two most common ones you encounter, mimics and the phantoms.
Phantoms have a couple different types. They have the regular phantoms.
There's like elements to them.
The standard phantoms. Was the super phantoms. Then there were the electric phantoms, and the fire phantoms.
And the fire phantoms.
Sure.
Oh, there was the anti-gravity phantom.
No, the anti-gravity one was the poltergeist.
Oh.
Yeah, they're poltergeist. There's an invisible enemy that can
lift you
into the air.
Yeah. And it's very disorienting.
They are easy to kill once you can find them.
Yeah, the trick is once you see it, it'll often disappear, and you have a hard time.
Yeah. There are the techno aliens that can control the robots and other machines, like turrets, and they're very difficult to kill. So it's just a hassle, and they're bullet sponges.
Almost all of them all kind of die the same way. They all just sort of have a big flurry of black goo. Yeah. When every enemy type has that, it almost feels like it makes them less unique from each other.
They don't even have to leave around corpses when you kill them. They leave around this little, it's kind of like a Tootsie Roll.
It really is about the size of a Tootsie Roll.
It's about the size of a Tootsie Roll, and it kind of looks slick. One enemy that I will bring up that is kind of a disappointment, in addition to how disappointing the other enemies are the Nightmares. The Nightmares are a really cool idea. That I thought
were huge.
Excellent.
The biggest enemies are...
You essentially have this giant psychic enemy that, when it sees you, it starts a side quest that is escape the nightmare. Either kill it or hide from it. In practice, it goes like this. Oh no, a nightmare's chasing you. Hide under a desk for 2 minutes. Go under the desk, put the controller down, and sit there for 2 minutes.
And you're like, well... That was boring.
The nightmare does not turn over desks. It does not really seek you out as well as it could. It has a very limited AI that just searches for you. But it doesn't flip over desks. It doesn't open up things.
You don't really feel like you're being hunted like you should. What comes off as something that should be scary comes off as an annoyance.
Robot enemies. So the robot enemies are as follows. Corrupted, which are hacked robots the aliens hacked.
Yeah.
And they usually go at you with a flamethrower with their arm that sticks out like this. They just come at you. And it's a pain in the ass to kill them because you end up just whacking them and losing half your health.
It also takes more than it should.
It does.
Like if you shoot one with a shotgun, it comes off as you think, oh man, I bet bits will come off as you're destroying it.
Yeah.
But no, you'll shoot it point blank with a shotgun and you'll feel very underpowered. Killing the enemies overall, robot or organic or Typhon or anything, is not satisfying to watch. Ultimately, for a first-person shooter that involves a lot of shooting, it's not very fun in terms of shooting at the enemies. The AI is very disappointing.
Yes.
If you're not there...
That's a very good point, actually.
They kind of just lumber around. And I mean, maybe they're dumb. Maybe they're like zombies, and I guess that's fine. But it just feels like they kind of have a preset path that really isn't enemy adapting to the player.
Let's start out with the first gun you get, which is the pistol.
Yep.
The problem with it. Get this, you'll never believe what's wrong with this gun. It'll baffle your mind. It's a silenced pistol that you cannot unsilence.
There is no such thing as an unsilenced pistol in the entirety of the game.
In Prey.
We don't know why.
Security officers carry silenced pistols, I don't get that. But why? Aside from that, I could roll with it if the gameplay with the pistols was good. These are probably the worst pistols I've ever encountered in a recent shooter.
I don't even think it helps. No. I don't even from a stealth standpoint.
It really doesn't.
It didn't make me feel like, oh, I'm using the silenced pistol to help sneak around. As soon as you hit an enemy, they turn and know exactly where you are, and you can't. There's no such thing as a well-placed headshot that's a one-hit kill.
What's the point of having a silenced pistol if you can't do headshots and one-hit kills?
The problem is for me, I felt like the way your accuracy was and how you aimed, it felt like a game that's supposed to have iron sights. All of the hip fire feels all over the place and doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like a natural... The game is made for hip fire.
The hip fire feels like it should be the poor choice, and there's no good choice.
Someone can argue, well, you know, you're just a scientist. You're not supposed to be master of a gun.
Then why play a fucking game?
It's a game.
Yeah.
Why can't it be fun to shoot?
It's supposed to be
then
fantasy.
fine, then
It's supposed to be escapism fantasy.
take it away.
Yeah.
But whatever.
But anyway, that's the pistol, which brings us to the shotgun.
Much better.
Much better. Still not great. The shotgun is worlds better than the pistol.
In my opinion, probably the most useful, best gun in the game.
Yeah.
So for the game, it's the best gun to use.
Yeah.
But even comparing this shotgun to other game shotguns, there's nothing about it that is special. It's not a double barrel shotgun. It doesn't have a fire one or two shot.
It's a
shotgun.
It's a pump shotgun with a base of 5 shots.
Mm-hmm.
I think 5-shot base, and you can upgrade it to. I think I got it up to like 10 shots.
So there's no special rounds for it. There's no secondary fire like a grenade launcher. It's here's the barest bone of a shotgun you can think of.
The next weapon is a goo gun.
Okay,
good.
So positive.
Finally. A positive.
This is it. So for me, it's the best gun.
It is. The goo gun shoots globs of cement.
Instantly hardens once it hits a surface.
When you shoot at enemies, it turns the enemies into statues.
Temporarily,
and so you can attack them.
It's cool though, because the enemy will be in mid-animation. So especially with either phantoms or mimics, you'll see like mid-transformation. So it's almost like something from The Thing.
And when you're trying to traverse the levels, you can use the glue gun to build staircases or platforms to rise up.
Or you're jumping down and you need a cushion or elevator.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Q-beam.
Do that with the Q-beam. I never found the Q-beam.
It's basically the sort of like, it's the heavy weapon. Like, you know, most games it would probably be a rocket launcher. In this case, it's a long-range laser beam, green laser beam that you fire. And it does a fair bit of damage. And, you know, it's a cool laser beam. Unfortunately, kind of like the pistol and the shotgun, when you fire it, instead of like this big charge up and then like, it feels like this.
That just goes with the game,
So,
doesn't it?
And even though it does a lot of damage, you're like, oh. And whatever, you just use it not for satisfaction, but because there's a tough enemy and you're just trying to get it out of the way.
Last gun, not the last weapon. The stun gun. Stun gun for me was a gun that just had to be there. It's like checklist stun gun. This is a gun where people have decisions and open world, so there has to be a stun gun in it. The stun gun only becomes useful when you upgrade it a ton. And I did that because I was running out of weapons to upgrade, but it wasn't really worth the time and effort for it.
For me, I felt the stun gun doesn't even have a place in this game.
The throwable weapons you had were EMP, you had Recycle Grenade, which was a cool weapon we'll get to in a second.
That was the best one.
There was no Frag Grenade. There was the lure.
Was there really not?
There was the lure. The lure worked if you had enemies near you and you wanted to get them away from you.
Yeah.
You threw it in the distance and they went to it.
Fetch!
The coolest of the throwable weapons was the Recycle Grenade. And Johnny, you want to tell us why?
Well, so as we were discussing earlier, one of the best gameplay aspects about this game was grabbing junk and then recycling it, and then you put it in the machine, and then you get all the material, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. The Recycle Grenade does exactly that. If you throw it at an enemy, it works almost. It kind of looks like a black hole grenade. Often either do damage or destroy them and turn them into little spheres of material. And you'll go up, so it's like, ha ha ha! Now I have useful stuff.
There's suit upgradable abilities and alien upgradable abilities. So the suit ones, they allow you to do different things. So it's like hacking, just being able to lift things up higher.
That's where it's very DSX for me.
Yeah, or be able to upgrade your gun further because you know more about guns. The other side of that coin was the alien abilities, which you got from scanning aliens with a headset. Some of the abilities you get that are cool are like the ability to lift people up in the air, the ability to shock people, the coolest ability is the ability to do what the mimics do and then turn into a object, which is really useful And incredibly fun if you're trying to get into a small space and like the door is locked, and you could spend resources on locking the door, or what you could do is turn into a cup and roll underneath, roll through a crack in the wall, or roll through the slot where people like hand each other things.
It was, for me, that's when the game finally felt like you had a little bit more freedom and creativity. Of all the abilities, it was the best idea they came up with.
Prey does this really weird thing where it makes its characters look, some look realistic and some look like goddamn cartoon characters. You'll have these people who are like beautiful people and like really like good looking sci-fi characters. Like the doctor looks cool, most of the females on the ship look cool. But then you come to your fucking brother. And your brother looks like a fucking Jabba the Hutt. He looks like a cartoon comic character, which is fine if everyone's gonna look like if everyone's gonna look like an exaggeration
the
or
consistency
or
is lacking there.
caricature, then everyone has to look like a caricature. You can't have one character that looks like a cartoon among everyone else that looks realistic. Who did the soundtrack this time around?
This was Mick Gordon. Great composer behind the 2016 Doom soundtrack. He did the new Microsoft Killer Instinct soundtrack, as well as Wolfenstein: The New Order, and he's currently working on Wolfenstein: The New Colossus soundtrack.
So the soundtrack in Prey is good, and the sound design's a little bit of a mixed bag. All the ambiance is fine. All the like the ambient sound. Typhons sound good.
They were very alien sounding. All the environments sounded super.
We talked about how the guns sounded like crap.
They didn't apply the good sound to the guns.
The guns did not sound good. The voice acting is fine.
I was working as fast as I can when I was about halfway through the game to make myself finish it, the main story, because of how sick I was of playing the game, and I wanted to have the story for the review. In terms of the story, there's almost no story.
Yeah.
There's very little evolution. It's just a big fucking fetch quest throughout most of the game.
So the story of this game is essentially this. You are one of the top scientists on this space station. And for some reason, you lost your memory. And for some reason, your brother put you in this test thing that makes you think that you're on Earth doing these little tests, which don't affect the game at all.
It's something to do with the Typhon.
Anyway, when you find out you're on the space station, you're essentially rescuing people and then helping them escape while learning more about the Typhon. And
basically, the whole science facility is based around the idea of utilizing the Typhon to get more powers, like when you can turn into a cop, when you can use your zap or psychic abilities.
Yeah.
That's what the whole facility is built around.
It's all about trying to give humans abilities.
Yeah. And fine, that's not a bad story. It's also been done a lot of times before.
Yeah.
But fine, the game is up to 20 hours and longer. You'd think there's going to be some more development.
There isn't. At the beginning of the game, you go watch a video of yourself,
a
recording that you left yourself explaining the situation. And then you have a robot that has your voice tell you that your job is to destroy the space station. That's fine. Go blow up the space station. But
you also have the option to just wipe out the Typhon and spare the space station.
Exactly.
For all of the scientific gains and knowledge that are from it. And that's what your brother wants you to do. Your brother, it's sort of like the little angel and devil. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, no, don't blow up the space station. Just kill the Typhon. We promise we can.
From there, you begin a game that could probably be 40 hours.
Oh, all the side quests I didn't do? Yeah.
Yeah. It gets super tedious to play. In the end, it's all for naught, because what happens, John?
So,
this guy, morning of, he finishes the game. He calls me and said, I've already traded this fucking game in. I'm like, why? We haven't done the review yet.
He hadn't finished it yet.
And this is why.
Okay, so let's say I did love the game. Like everything about it, and I did every side quest, and was eating it up. Regardless of all that, the game ends with it being revealed that everything in the game, everything you've done, even if you destroy or kill or save, or wipe out the Typhon. Don't do any side quests, do them all. The whole game is a simulation. You are a Typhon alien, in actuality, that is going through a simulation to see what you would do. And I guess apparently a bunch of Typhon have landed on Earth already, and they put you, a Typhon, through this simulation to see if humans and Typhon can coexist. Basically, it means everything you've gone through, you don't even know if it's based on anything that actually exists.
You have a missed opportunity that cannot go overlooked. In the first Prey, whenever you died, you went to the spirit world. And that was a cool thing.
There was no checkpoints.
There's no checkpoint.
The game always continued flowing. There was never waiting for the load screen to come back to life. You brought yourself back, and that was in the lore.
This game, you go to an awkward game over screen that takes you to a very long load screen.
It's somehow the laziest game over reload checkpoint screen.
And every time it fucking glitched and didn't work properly.
You and I came up with a really cool idea of what if whenever you died, you had to go back to that apartment again and do things over differently.
And according to the demo, the teaser trailer that was released,
the original CG trailer for the game,
whenever you came back, you were slightly different, and like you were more mutated. And that would be cool if the more you died, the more messed up you became.
Go check it out. Original teaser trailer for Prey.
We'll put it in the link below.
It shows you at least 4, if not 5 times going, hello Morgan, and slowly it's supposed to be like, it's the same day. It's like Groundhog Day.
His body gets fucked up the more he says hello Morgan.
But you
his eyes become red
just do it twice, and then it's ignored.
Now, the movies that I thought of when I was playing Prey were, pretty obvious space movies like Alien, Aliens, Event Horizon.
Especially, I think that's really about it.
That's about it.
Out of 6 sandwiches, I honestly would rate this a 3.
50%?
Equivalent, yeah.
Yeah.
I would rate this a 3 out of 6 sandwiches. I'm sticking to that.
I'm going to do maybe a 3.5. I enjoyed the game a little bit more just for what it was.
It sounds like a 6.5 or a 7, maybe.
It's a 7. It's barely a C for me. This game is barely passable. And the frustrating thing is a lot of people are giving it great reviews.
If you took away the name Prey and called it something else, and it was not made by the guys who made Dishonored, I think the game would have just sunk.
Despite how Arcane Studios did a good job with Dishonored, I think this game could have been a lot better if Arcane Studios hadn't done it. If a different studio had taken over this game, it would have been a whole different game. It might have been better. Hopefully if they make it Prey 2, it's better. I don't think they will. It didn't sell very well. So that's our show for Prey 2017. I'm Carl Diamond.
I'm John Reeve.
Please like and
subscribe.
Let us know what you think. You didn't like it? Tell us what you didn't like. Now, if you thought of any movies that go with this game, please post them below.
Yeah, I want to see those movies.
Yeah. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.
Bye!